for you. Plays in the first half and came out so strong in the second half. What did it take to get the 2 touchdowns in the second half?
Just trusting what we do. We obviously we started off slow. We weren't playing our brand of football, but the guys in the locker room came out at the halftime, sense of urgency. We started running the ball effectively, having our type of Army football drives, and it starts with the old lineman. As I always say, starts with the slot backs and receivers making great blocks, but just sustaining drives, that was the biggest thing.
Just after Leo gets the fumble recovery before he gets to the ball back, you go down to the 6-yard line, you got first and 10, first and goal. You get close twice. Take us through that drive on that.
At that point, I wasn't in the game, so I was getting worked on. I actually saw the last play with Jacoby, so I can't really elaborate on the last part of that drive.
And just the effort of Jacoby Buchanan, we know he was hurt, and he was able to come in and add to the offense today.
Like Jacoby, he's tough. He had an injury, fought through it, ran the ball hard, ran the ball effectively. That one run is not going to define who he is. He's still fourth and Kobe. He still runs hard. He's still a great beatback, one of the best that's ever came here. So that one run is not going to define him, and this game is not going to define our season.
Thank you.
Seth Mendelson, you got hurt. What happened?
I just got rolled up on, but got taped up, went back out the following drive.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I saw a different team in the third quarter than I did the first half. What happened at halftime? Any adjustments?
No adjustments. We came out, ran our base plays. We just eliminated the mistakes. If you noticed in the first half, we were moving the ball. Both quarterbacks, me and Kay, had good drives, just ended turnovers. We got stopped. We were running the ball, and we eliminated our mistakes. We were a pretty effective team running the ball. But there was not one point in the locker room that we felt like we were going to lose the game. We came out with a sense of urgency, and we tried to eliminate our own mistakes.
The punt, the fake punt at the end, I know you weren't in the game, but was that called by the coaches or was that called by the players?
I mean, like I said, I'm not sure. I don't really know how special teams is ran. I don't know if it was a look by the punter or a look by someone on the field or Coach Monken. I'm not sure, so that's just something you got to ask Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Steph Sergeant Johnson, First Infantry Division, Public Affairs. I just wanted to ask you what it means to you. Every week is a different division. This one happens to be the First Infantry Division. And you think about when you graduate, as you commission as a second lieutenant, somebody on this team may be at Riley. Tell me what it means to you to represent the First ID today.
So, like you hit on it, every week we represent a unit. I emphasize to the guys that what we do is bigger than football. We're representing millions of people, millions of men, millions of women. So, we always try to represent in the right way. Even though we didn't come out with the victory, we hope that our grit and how hard we play is something that you at First ID is proud of. We have a lot of great leaders on this team. And, like you said, some of us will end up at Fort Riley. So, you're going to get some tough, gritty second lieutenants coming into you. But it does mean a lot. Any unit we represent, it means a lot. And we thank you for your service.
Connor, let's go to Zoom. Just do 2 each.
Yeah, Joe, you can start.
Hey, Tyler, Joe Icon with GoBlackKnights.com. Could you walk me through what happened with the exchange with Tyson in the first half when there was the fumble?
We got to go back and watch on film. It wasn't a read play. It was a simple play. I was carrying out my fade. He didn't even know he fumbled. We just got to go back and look at it. I'm not sure. I can't really elaborate on that. I'm not really sure what happened.
Okay, that makes sense. And just my final question, like you said, I feel like the offense was moving the ball pretty effectively today, just couldn't finish drives. What can you guys do in practice to work on to just make sure you get the ball in the end zone?
Not just take care of the ball. When we took care of the ball, we were able to drive, minus the play on the one And then I know my second drive, we had a 3 and out, just ball got batted down, had a penalty, just bad circumstances. You know, it's always good to end a drive and a kick, you know, whether it's a field goal or a punt. But the other drive, we were just standing. We got to take care of the ball. You know, we got the plays, we got the players. We got to take care of the ball.
Thanks.
Ken?
Tyre, Ken McMillan from the Record.
How you doing, sir?
Good, thank you. Tyre, obviously, you guys down 17-0, but came back strong, 2 touchdowns. You scored on the power play on the left side. Can you tell us about that play, and what did you think about momentum at that point?
So that play, I know, like, we run it often. I mean, I know y'all watch the games. It's just the QB lead. Great blocking, great movement. You know, I can't really elaborate on the play. It's just great blocking by everybody. You know, I did my best to fit it as well as I could, and we finished in the end zone. But as far as momentum, like I said, you can feel momentum swings, but the biggest thing is everybody feeling like, you know, they have a chance to win this game. There was not a second that someone on the sideline or in the locker room felt like we were going to lose, and I think that's the biggest thing.
And then obviously you lose, you go to 1-3. Just tell us about where does this team stand right now? How difficult is this?
We're a 1-3 football team. That's what the country sees us as. That's what college football sees us as, and that's on us to turn it around. So we got work to do, but right now I can't really elaborate. We're a 1-3 football team, and that's what people see.
Thanks, Steve.
That's it for Tyre.
Leo, maybe just your overall assessment of the game. Georgia State really had a strong first half, but your defense really came back in the second half, and especially your fumble recovery after the second touchdown. What's your overall assessment of the game?
Like always, we played hard. It's a tough loss for sure. It's one of those things that we get a couple things to go our way. We play a little bit better, and we come out on top. We always play hard. We never quit, and we just got to execute a little bit better, get the win.
And just tell us about when you did get the fumble recovery after you get the 2 touchdowns, and it's a 17-14 game. Tell us about the play and the momentum your team had at that point.
It was just a phenomenal play by Quell, really, to get that ball out on a big run. It would have been like a 40-yard run, 30, 40-yard run. And just to make a play like that was absolutely incredible. I was just around the ball, happened to land on it. I didn't really do nothing special. Just gotta do our best when they punch, we gotta punch back. Quell did a great job of that.
It was just like in the first quarter when you stopped the Georgia State drive and they forced them into a field goal. That was a big defense effort. What happened? What did you do on that series to stop the drive?
Coach Woody, just a great play call, really. And like always, we don't quit. We get our backs down in the end zone, back against the wall. We gotta keep fighting, and that's what we did on that drive.
Thank you.
Connor on Zoom.
Okay, Joe, you can start.
Hey, Leo, Joe Icon with GoBlackKnights.com. You made a lot of tackles today. You talked about a little bit about some of your one-on-one battles and how you were able to win those, and it seemed like you were all over the field. Even made some really good plays on the perimeter against a really speedy quarterback.
Just try my best I can in this game of defense. Obviously, once you secure your job on the play, then you got to go run the ball and try to do the best you can to get it down. So I was just trying to do that as best I could.
And then my final question is just, it looked like Georgia State had a lot of success running the ball up the middle today with their running backs who were all pretty speedy and shifty. What can you guys work on to try and improve, the run defense, especially up the middle where it seems like Army's been kind of getting gashed a little bit?
Yeah, I think just kind of getting off blocks a little bit, playing those gaps a little better, knowing our responsibility, and just making sure we don't come out of gaps too soon. Working on exchanges for the linebackers. There's a lot of things we can do, just a lot of room for improvement.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Leo, Ken McMillan from the Record. Something that it looked like Army was having trouble with, you can tell us otherwise, the tempo game that Georgia State was throwing at you, very similar to Coastal and San Antonio. Is Army defense having difficulty with teams that have such a fast tempo?
I wouldn't say that. I think it's, the weather wasn't too bad, fortunately, and, it wasn't too hot out there. No one was really cramping like that. But I think it's just getting lined up. We gotta get lined up and know our responsibility right away. And that can make it difficult on any defense. And that's something definitely we got to work on going forward because teams see that and teams will keep repeating to do that to us.
For as good as it felt to beat Villanova and end that streak, what's it like to be 1-3 right now, facing a tough opponent next week?
Yeah, I mean it's easy to look down the road. But the bottom line is we're not going to quit. We got to keep fighting every single game, no matter who the opponent is, no matter who we're playing, and no matter who we're playing the next week. We got to keep fighting. Because at the end of the day, it's the legacy of this team on the line every game.
But you feel like you can recover quickly?
I do.
Thank you.
You guys good? That's it for Leo. Thank you.
On a frustrating loss, your team ran for 354 yards today, but you had a strong third quarter, but just got stopped 4 times on fourth down. What was your assessment of the day?
As an offense, as an offensive line, we have sprouts where we look good, where we're moving the ball, and then we have drive-killing mistakes, our fundamentals, assignments, not getting enough push on the 1 yard line, and that's what killed us today.
And you got it to 17-14. You get it down to the 6 yard line, first and goal, and then it became a tough fight. Tell us about that series.
Yeah, as an offensive line, especially, we pride ourselves on, taking control of the game in those situations. And I don't know exactly what happened on that play. I'll have to look at the film to figure it out, but it's disappointing we weren't able to score in that situation.
And just in noticing your blocking, it seemed like you had players out leading on the sweeps, getting in front of the quarterback on the runs either side. How did you feel like your offensive line did on those?
The same thing. We're inconsistent. We have some really good plays, and then we have times where, we don't. So it's trying to figure out, is our identity going to be the good plays, or is it going to be the bad plays, or is it going to be somewhere in between? And that's for us to figure out this week.
Thank you.
Hey, Connor, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. I know in the past this could be like a 24-hour rule. How much do you think about this one before you move on to Wake Forest? Is it just, do you guys get over it quickly, or is this the one that you'll think about for a little bit on how you were close but just it didn't work out for you?
You've always got to, there's a balance there. You've always got to be able to put it behind you and focus on the next play, but, it's also a good source of motivation when you look at us at this point in the season being 1-3. So that's how I use that.
Is this where you saw the team? It's probably not where you saw the team be. What's the message to the team that you can give to going into Wake Forest as a captain?
We need to be better. We need to have a sense of urgency. Every single time we come out and practice, it needs to be, not only just great effort, but we need to accomplish things. And Coach Monken talks about that a lot, not confusing accomplishment with just effort or hard work. And we can't do that. We need to come out and actually get better as a football team and get better at executing at the little things and, our assignments and our fundamentals, and that's what it comes down to. And we've been talking about that since the first game against Coastal Carolina, is we need to get better at the assignments and fundamentals, and I'm sure when I turn on the film and watch it, it'll be the same response.
Did you feel like after a bye week the team was kind of like ready and chomping at the bit to play today?
Yeah, I did. I had a good feeling going into today. We kind of need to look back and see what happened, where our lapses were.
Anything else in the room? Connor, go to Zoom.
Okay, Joe, start.
Hey, Connor, Joe Icon with GoBlackKnights.com. There's been a lot of injuries on the offensive line this year. The downside to that's obvious, but the upside is some of the younger guys and more players have gotten some more playing time. Noticed Aiden Gaines made a couple nice blocks today, got some significant playing time. Just give me your opinion on how, the O-line's coming along, even though it really, as far as I know, hasn't been the same in any of your two games yet this year.
Yeah, we have had injuries this year, and we've had guys have to step up, but every year I've been here, that's also been the case. So, a big part of that calculus when you're looking at how's the O-line going to be, where we need to be at, is our depth as well. And it's part of it. It's part of football. It's part of playing triple option offensive line, as those things happen from time to time. And so bringing those guys along is an important thing, and it's something we still need to get better at. It's just continuing to build depth. But as for, we had a couple guys today, Aiden Gaines, Will Jeffcoat, who stepped up and really had their first meaningful snaps. The feeling I got from their performance in the game was good. I obviously need to go back and watch the film, but yeah, that's an ongoing process, is continuing to build depth.
Thank you.
Ken? Hey, Connor, Ken McMillan from the Record.
How you doing, Ken?
Good. Connor, you guys kind of bounced back well in the second half, 17-14, chance to go up. You didn't go up, but you didn't fold either at that point. What's it like to see the game just slip away like that in just the final minutes of this game?
It's frustrating, and credit to Georgia State, and they did a great job holding on to that lead in the second half, but it's certainly frustrating, especially when you're in a scenario where you put that on the offensive line, and we weren't able to come out and execute and get the job done. So, and we had more chances after that, and we had a couple of just unfortunate errors across the board that limited us from really, having that chance late in the fourth quarter, but certainly frustrating.
I mean, I know this has been the case with Army football, the way the option game is, what happens with it, but only a couple mistakes, 2 fumbles, a missed completion. I mean, you guys, your room for margin of error is razor thin. What's it like having to play like that?
That's what makes playing the triple option great, is that when it's well executed, it's hard to stop. But along with that comes that small margin of error. And, that really just comes with it. It's something that we know can't happen. We can't have turnovers. We can't have misassignments, foolish penalties. And, that's part of the game we play. So when we look back at that, at a failed drive because of a small error, that's stuff that can't happen.
How do you not let this season slip away? I know it's early, but, you played on a 19 team that struggled. You played on the bowl teams the last 2 years. How do you keep this from snowballing?
Yeah, I guess there's not too many people on the team right now who remember that 19 team, and you could draw motivation from it. But just at this point in time, we have a decision to make, and it's either to fold up the tents and kind of just quit, or to keep going and, keep getting better and having that hard look in the mirror and seeing where, as a program, we need to improve down to the individual, where each individual needs to improve. And, in terms of us representing the Army and this academy and this nation, I hope we choose the latter.
Thanks, Colin.
Kind of just building on that thought, how do you, as a team captain, leader in the court, could have speak to your teammates and lead them in this difficult time?
Yeah, we need to continue to just, like I said, have those hard conversations and look in the mirror and give people that feedback that they need, but also stay positive. And it's those two, being positive, but also saying, look, this is where we need to get better, and that's what we need a lot of right now.
Thank you.
That's it for Connor. Next up will be Coach Monken shortly.
Afternoon, everybody. Well, certainly not the outcome we wanted, and really disappointed. I did a poor job with our team. Just weren't ready. Didn't. I mean, we wasted the first half. We just wasted the first half. Let them run the ball on us, turning the ball over. A 20-yard punt, missed assignments on touchdowns, and those kinds of things. That's my fault. So, second half, I thought our guys really fought hard. We gave ourselves a chance to take the lead, and couldn't even get it in from the 1-inch line. We're typically pretty good at that. And then, we had another chance, and we went backwards on an option play, and on 4th down, I faked the punt. Shouldn't have done that. Wish I wouldn't have done that. Wish I'd just punted it down there and see if we could stop them and try to block a punt or something like that. Get good field position, kick a field goal at the end. But, we were desperate to win. We'd been down to the 1-yard line and didn't get it in. And, at that point, with 3 minutes and some change to go, I didn't know if we were going to get it back. So I can, I can try to justify my mind, but I'm going to lose sleep for about the next 6 years. And when you do things like that as a coach, it's remorseful. And our guys were fighting. They tried hard in the second half, but we just wasted the first half. It was very, very poor performance. And it's our job to have them ready, and we just didn't execute. The turnovers were certainly hurtful, and so we got to do better. When you lose a turnover battle, you got a pretty good chance you're going to lose the game.
Coach, again, the second half of the team came out so strong. 2 straight drives down the field. Tyler converts both of them for touchdowns, and then you get the ball back, and just you get it down to the 6-yard line, 1st and goal, and 4 tries at it. Was there something different on that series than maybe other series where you've been able to punch the ball in on the short yardage situations?
Oh, they got in the gaps and kind of bottled it up in there, but as Brent Davis said, that's the same play we ran to win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy here 2 years ago, and everybody was in the gaps and everybody was standing at the line of scrimmage, and we knocked them out of there, and Jacoby got in, and we just didn't do that. We had some chances on 2nd and 3rd down, and we're just right there knocking on the door, and we got to block them up and get it in there. They give them credit, give their team credit. They bowed up when they needed to and made the stop and kept us from getting in the end zone. So,
Coach, your defense made a nice stop right after that, forcing a punt. Terrell had a problem with the punt, but Brady Murphy recovered it. But then you go down, you couldn't get that drive completed.
We couldn't. We got the ball and got ourselves in position. That's where we knew they would leave their defense on the field. We had prepared for that look to run a fake against that look. It's probably a little bit long. I think it says 4th and 11. We had our analytics was a go at 4th and 10. So I probably should just let our offense give it a whirl if I wanted to do that. Or punt it down there and see if we could pin them for field position and try to get them stopped. And we didn't do it. And like I said, I've got great remorse over that call. But we just it was the 3rd down call, and we were trying to run the option over to their bench, and they kind of ran us down from the inside out, and so we just weren't able to get it started. Tyre wasn't able to get it out there to the perimeter and get it pitched or turn it up, and we'd run that play plenty of times, and both gotten it pitched and had the quarterbacks turn it up, whether it was Tyre or Cade, and we just couldn't get it out there. So it went from 2nd and 7 or 3rd and 10 to 4th and 11. So we had That was that was the loss. That was the pitch play. So 2nd and 7 with this 3rd and 10, 3rd and 10 and 4th and 11. So, like I said, just feeling the desperation. It's my job to coach the team. It's my job to put them in the best position, and that call probably didn't put them in the best position. But we have many other things we've got to evaluate and look at and do better, and have our guys prepared for and execute better. And if we do, then we're not down 17-0 at halftime. And we missed an open receiver on a touchdown pass. We had the turnover right after that, where he pitched it and kind of was a little behind him and a little high, and we had opportunities. We just didn't execute.
Just to ask about Jacoby Buchanan was back out there when he was questionable going in. He had a bunch of plays. How did you think he handled it? And also Tyson had a fumble early on, but played well. How do you feel the V-backs did?
I was really proud of Jacoby for playing, and he's hurt. He's injured. He's playing on it. Our trainers did a great job, the training staff, of helping him get ready. He didn't look like himself. He wasn't, didn't have that same explosive power that we've come to know out of him. But he was hammering that ball in there pretty good, and he's a load, and he's hard to tackle because he is so big. I thought some of those other guys played really well. Tyson ran the ball well. I was disappointed in the fumble. I don't think that we did a great job with the fundamentals on the pocket there, and it fell right out of the bottom. And we talked to him about it. I know he cares, but he went back in there and he played hard and ran hard, and then got banged up and didn't come in the second half. But I thought Hayden Reed ran hard. I thought Markel Johnson ran hard. It was good to see those guys in there and contributing. And we've seen Hayden and been pleased with his progress. And it was really the first action for Markel, and I thought he did a good job. But there's, as we look at it, there's going to be some things probably in the blocking game on the perimeter when the quarterback's carrying the ball that we can do better on. And it's hard to completely evaluate a guy's performance and really our total performance without looking at the film. But I know they were playing hard, and disappointed we had those opportunities in the first half where we fumbled the ball, because we'd moved the ball. We'd moved the ball down the field and then fumbled it and moved it again and fumbled it. And it wasn't a matter of not blocking the plays up and gaining yards. We got to protect and take care of the ball. It's the most important thing in the game.
Thanks, Coach.
One question, Coach. Seth Mendelson, Black Knight Nation. Came out at halftime. I'm guessing you think you still could win the game down 17. The team looked totally different.
Well, we did believe, and that's what I appreciate about our guys. I think they always feel like they have a chance to win the football game. And we got down there, we're knocking on the door at the 1-inch line and couldn't get it in. We were going to go up 21-17. And I think that probably would have got everybody's mojo going pretty good if we could have taken that lead. And we didn't. We made them punt, and then we turned around and couldn't do anything with it, went backwards. And that's when I tried to fake punt. And, I've talked about that already.
Did you ever think about field goal at 17-14?
We couldn't have kicked a field goal from there. It was, we had a...
That when you were at the 1-inch line, the 1 yard line?
Well, no, not for us. The play there for us is to bang it in from the 1-inch line. That's what we do. Our fourth down conversion rate on 4th and 1 is, it's probably in the 90%. So I can't think of very many times when we had fourth and a full yard that we didn't make it, and we had 4th and the length of my hat to get in, and we didn't get it in. But that's what we do there. So.
Coach South from Black Knight Nation. I saw that Jeff Coat and Aiden Gaines got some time in the second half. Banged up on the offensive line still, or was that just giving those guys some reps?
We are injured. Booby Law didn't play today. He's a guy that started the season at tackle. But all of those guys little banged up. The only guy that started and played today that hasn't been in the training room and missed a practice since the last time he played was Jackson Filipowicz. So everybody else has missed practices and been nursing them back to health. But that's just part of it. It's part of it. It's not an excuse. It just is what it is. So at right guard, we kind of rotated those three guys and felt like keeping those guys fresh and giving them a chance to play, and that we might get something collectively out of the three guys there.
The big plays at the end by Georgia State for 2 touchdowns, is that just good play calls by them, or is that just, defense just kind of...
Well, the touchdown throw was on 3rd down. We had banged a timeout on 1st, and on 2nd down, they had 3rd and 5. And so you can play back and play off and let them throw a hitch route in front of you for 5 yards. I got 1 timeout left. They're going to run the clock out there. You hope that you can squat enough, just a little beyond the sticks, that you could break up on a 3-step route and tackle them before they got the 1st down, and be in position to be able to bail if there's a long throw like that, and get back in position. And that guy just ran by us, and he was rolling when he went by us, and so our guys were trying to play the situation, and they threw it over our head, and to their credit, and then we couldn't do anything with it. We obviously went for it on 4th down, had to at that point, down 10 points, and they simply just handed the ball off, and we were trying to shoot guys up the field and be disruptive. We needed to create a turnover there. We didn't have any timeouts left, so we needed to create a turnover there, and we didn't have anybody in the middle of the field. Everybody was in there knowing that they were going to hand the ball off on the inside, and we got double teamed in the gap where he ran it, and trying to bring edge pressure as well, try to track the guy down, maybe cause a fumble from behind. We just stand everybody in the middle of the field, and so we got another touchdown. I guess you call that a cheap one. People call it a cheap score, but they earned it. They blocked us up and ran it in there. So certainly disappointed. I don't think the final score is indicative of the second half, but it was indicative of the first half. They kicked our butts in the first half, and that was it.
Just one more. Did you need more out of the pass rush today, especially with their quarterback and how mobile he was? Or
did we need...
Did you need more pressure, or need to get to the quarterback a little bit more today? Or?
We would have liked to. A couple times we were dropping 8, and really just trying to keep him contained and make him throw the ball. And they can only hold those blocks for so long, and we lost contain on one of those, and he got a 1st down, and then there were other times where we tried to add some pressure, we tried to bring some guys, and he didn't do a very good job getting to him. I think we had a couple sacks. I don't know how many total. I remember getting to him a couple times and dropping him, but last year we got a lot of pressure on those guys and got them to the ground. And it's the same calls and a lot of the same guys, and just didn't do as good a job this year.
Coach, Staff Sergeant Johnson, 1st Infantry Division, Public Affairs. Tough day today, but I wanted to turn it a little bit and ask about when you represent, represent a division, 2 parts. What really goes into choosing which division, and tell me a little bit about what it meant to you and your players to represent the Big Red One today.
Well, we represent a different unit each week, and it's just a tremendous sense of pride for our team, for all of us to be able to represent those men and women that serve. And the Big Red One, obviously, a few years ago, we wore the Big Red One uniform in the Army-Navy game. It's incredible to be able to represent them in that way, and I think our guys just, me included, all of us, to be able to represent an Army unit. We play for so much more than ourselves, and that's part of the disappointment when we lose, is is that we are representing those men and women in that unit. We are representing the men and women of the United States Army, and to not play in a way that represents them is a disappointment. But I can assure you that it's just a great source of pride for us, knowing that we've got the hundreds of thousands of men and women who serve in our United States Army, and all of our veterans that wear the same colors and the same uniform as us.
Connor, just do one each on Zoom.
Joe, you can go.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Coach Monken, big difference between the first half and second half today, even though the final score may not have been indicative of that. What do you think may have caused such a disparity? It looked like two completely different Army teams out there, the first half and the second half.
I don't know if I can put my finger on it. I think certainly offensively, I think the turnovers made a difference in the first half. We had moved the ball, and when we pitched the ball on the ground down there, we tried the pass over the middle to Isaiah and overthrew him a little bit. We're in field goal range. At least we're going to have a chance to get some points there and to come away with nothing. It wasn't as if we weren't moving the ball, but there was some inconsistencies, and those guys are on scholarship on the other side of the ball too, so they're going to play blocks, and they did a good job of making some stops. But a lot of it was self-inflicted, and we got to do a better job with the things we can control. And then defensively, just not being able to stop the run. Those guys it just seemed like that first drive. I think back to the first drive. They throw a 10-yard out or a 10-yard hitch, and it's first and 10 at the 35, and then they go, hand off, and they're gashing us. And we got to be able to get off of blocks. We're playing gaps, but we also got to get off of those blocks and those gaps and make the tackle. And they just kept rolling. So we did a better job with that in the second half than we did in the first, and got them to turn the ball over to us, whether it was a punt or a turnover or whatever it may be. And on offense, we moved the ball, and we really challenged the guys and didn't do anything earth-shattering. Just ran our plays and blocked them better and did a better job. So did a better job till we got to the 1-inch line, and we had, like I said, we had a chance on second down, and on third down. I think third down was a no gain. If I look, that was the fourth quarter. We had first and goal at the 3. We got it to the 1. It was third and goal at the 1, and we probably gained half a yard, and then we had fourth and goal from just a few inches. Like I said, the length of my hat. And if we get that in there, I think that really changes the game. Our guys get that momentum and just that feeling of overcoming a 17-0 deficit at halftime and taking the lead, and give those guys from Georgia State credit. They made the stop when they needed to.
Thanks, Ken. You can wrap up.
Hi, Jeff. Ken McMillan from The Record. You've been here a long time, in the positive and the less positive seasons here. How difficult is this situation at 1-3, injuries mounting, and headed on the road?
Oh, it's tough. We'd love to not be 1-3. That's not a great place to be, but season's not over. That's a third of the season. We still got 2/3 of the season left, so a lot of football left to play. And I believe in this team, and we're going to keep fighting. We got 100% of those guys in that locker room are going to be Army officers. They're going to have to lead soldiers, and they're going to have their backs to the wall sometimes, and in much more difficult circumstances than we're in right now. So I'm confident that these guys will continue to fight and give us their best effort, and certainly got a big challenge. We're going to play the best team that we've played certainly so far this year. The team's in the top 25 to start the year, and remains, and one of the really good football teams in the ACC and college football. Dave Clawson's an outstanding coach. What they do on offense is unique. It's much like what we do. It's different than everybody else, and it gives them an edge. And so we're going to have to figure out how to slow them down and then move the ball on them on offense. We did a good job of that last year against them, but they got a new coordinator and a new defensive staff, and so we'll have some challenges, and hopefully our guys will get healthy. That's something we can't control, but hopefully they'll work hard and get in the training room. I know we got a great training staff, and they'll work hard to get those guys healthy and ready. And we're going to take our team down there with the intent to try to win a football game. And I think if we'll play the way we're capable of playing, we're going to give ourselves a great chance. If we don't, then we won't give ourselves a very good chance to win.
That's it, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.